We're going to go right into our next presentation, one more before lunch, so hang in there. Now hopefully you have a little bit better feel for what supportive housing is. We're really excited to have David here, who is a client and an employee of Clearbrook and also works at the Marianos in Arlington Heights. David's going to share his story about accessing supportive housing along with Jennifer Robinson, who is the supportive housing coordinator at Clearbrook, who Julie touts quite a bit, obviously. So please help us welcome David and Jennifer.
Hi, I'm a little nervous, I'm sorry. This is my apartment. I moved into my apartment in August 23rd, and getting still support. This is, I'm pretty new to this supported housing, so just got, I get somebody who comes in and helps me pay my bills and stuff like that. And my bills and my budget, and works with me on a budget. And in there, I have an opportunity to go out in the community and do different things. And I volunteer at a school in Arlington Heights. And then I, and also have a personal support staff who helps me with different activities and stuff, and also. And I have a picture of the apartment that I live in Arlington Heights. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Dave.
So I'm just going to kind of piggyback off of what David spoke about in his process. I actually started off as David SDA, which is another acronym. I was his self-directed assistant at Clearbrook, and I now work with Dave in the supportive housing realm. So the process started with David actually being very vocal at his personal plan meeting. David actually lived independently with a roommate for a number of years, and during that time, David worked on skills like cooking and cleaning and household chores, and it came to a point where David said that I want to live by myself. I think it's time. So I worked with Dave's family. Dave has an amazing family. And we started the very long process. So finding Parkview, David actually found the apartment. David lives in Arlington Heights. He's lived in Arlington Heights for a very long time. And he just was walking to work and he said, hey, I see this building being built. It looks like it's going to be awesome. What can I do to move into that building? So it was really a matter of resourcing, reaching out, figuring out who was building the building and what rules and what requirements were going to be set with that building. I want to say we started that process January of 2018. So Dave, with our assistant, he filled out the application and we waited. So in his situation, which is a little unique, we did not have to wait a long time. It was 3 months. They approved his application and we started the process of supportive housing. Now in this situation, the building was actually being built. So we just had to wait for the building to actually be built. So during that time, we scheduled an IDT meeting with David and his family, with his ISC and with Clearbrook, and we started planning as we were waiting for the building to be built. So during that time, we did an assessment that we do at Clearbrook just to kind of see what skills David does well, what are some things that David would need supports in, and then we just started planning. Paperwork. With the new building, you have to turn in a lot of documentation. It's all about the income. Can David afford it? Does he have the budget? So in this situation, I developed a great relationship with the developers and with the property manager, and we were able to work together to make sure that all paperwork was turned in. So the wait. So during this process, David actually got to tour the building during the whole process. So you can see him with his hard hat on. He got to walk through And he actually got to pick his unit. It was important for him to face the sun and have a view. So you're on the 7th floor?
Yeah.
7th floor, beautiful view, which was unique because he was there at the start of the process, so he was able to pick which unit he wanted. And I remember the developers called and said, you know, the 3rd and 4th floor are finished. Would David like to move on one of those floors? And David's like, I need a view. So David was very patient during that process, and he was able to move in. During that waiting time, I was able to throw David a housewarming party because David is an employee at Clearbrook and he's family. He's been with Clearbrook for over 25 years. So we were able to throw him a housewarming party where his support workers and we made his wish list, and we were all able to step in and rally around David to make sure that he had everything he needed for his apartment. I think a lot of the times families don't realize, like, you're running around trying to get housing, but then when you get housing, you're like, wait a minute, I need furniture, I need things of that nature. So during that waiting period, we were able to do the housewarming and make sure that David had everything he needed to move in. So I believe it was August 8th?
August 23rd.
August 23rd, yeah. I got the call from the property manager that said, hey, David can move in. So I literally dropped everything and I called David and I was like, can I pick you up? They have your keys. You know, can we go ahead and get you moved in? So with the process of a new building, the push date, or the date got pushed back several times. So it was, you can move in May, and then, oh, we're having issues with electricity, so you can move in July. But finally in August of 2018, he was able to get his keys, and he was able to move in that weekend with the help of his family, with the help of Clearbrook, to get him all situated. So life on my own. So David does have 2 support workers that I supervise that work with him in his apartment. They come out weekly. And because David, he's so awesome and very independent, they work with him on community integration as well as cooking. David loves to cook. So it's just a matter of him trying new recipes and just kind of getting some new ideas, as well as learning Arlington Heights and areas outside of Arlington Heights. Family supports, like I said, David has an awesome family that was there right along with Clearbrook through the whole process. And then Clearbrook support, David's very fortunate. He's had his DSP staff for how many years?
3 years.
3 years for one, and then, or both 3 years.
I think both a couple of years.
Couple of years, yeah. So he's fortunate to have that stability. And not only does he get the support staff, I'm also his case manager, so I see David on a as needed basis, but generally I see him every other week.
Right.
And I just review budgeting, any questions that he has. I have a great relationship with the property manager, so if things come up, they communicate to me, I communicate to David, and it's just a partnership and just providing everything that he needs. So there's some pictures of Dave's apartment. David picked his color scheme. That was also related as we did the housewarming. It was blue, any shades of blue, so everyone was able to pitch in and get him things. And he is coming up almost on his year of living on his own in his apartment. So I've already started the process of working with the property managers just to see what paperwork needs to be turned in at his yearly lease renewal. Another thing that I do is, because of the type of apartment he has, David has affordable housing. So I just work with David to make sure that he has that requirement, so that every year we don't have to run into the issue of does he qualify or not. So again, that's the teamwork and partnership and working with the property managers and developers to make sure that he meets those requirements so that he can stay in his apartment long term.
So we're going to open it up for questions. Just on a personal note, I was so surprised to see David here today. My family has been so blessed in getting to know him in the community where he works, and he is just could not be more lovely, and what a beautiful success story this is. So congratulations to you. And that he was able to do this in 3 months. I think I'm going to hire him on how to navigate the system. So do you have any questions for Dave?
You said that David's application was approved. Who were you talking about as the party approving it?
It came from the developers, so we worked with Up Development, and the application process went through them because it was a new building, so I worked with the developers in his situation. Typically, it would be just a property manager, but because it was a new building, I was working with the developers first before they identified a property manager, and then I worked through them.
We have a question back here for you, Dave.
Hey, David, where do you work at?
I work at Mariano's.
That's what I thought. How do you like it there?
It's pretty good. It's
Yeah?
pretty good.
How long you been there?
For 5 years.
Oh, yeah, a long time, yeah. All right, great, yeah. I love Mariano's, and they treat you okay. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
All right, great.
You had said that David was the affordable housing, so there's quite a bit of a waiting list for that, if I heard that right. How long was David on that list before?
He got lucky pretty much because it wasn't really a wait list for him because it was a new property. So right when they announced that the wait list was open, Dave applied for it immediately.
So if you know of a new property that's going to be opening up, you also have to have the good fortune enough to know that there's no waiting list, correct? It has to be a marriage of two.
Kind of like a gray area. Prime example, I'm working with 2 developers for the new constructed building in Arlington Heights, Harts Place. So it's a matter of the relationship building. Like I've met with the developers. We're talking about the wait list. Clearbrook, we have our internal wait list of clients that are interested. So then once they make that public, I can reach out to them with our list of clients that are interested, and then we can start that process. So it is a matter of relationship building. Who do you know? And that's just one of the things I do at Clearbrook is advocating for our clients that want it, and then just seeing what needs to be done to help them reach that goal.
And the community in which the new housing place is going up doesn't necessarily have to be in Arlington Heights, or it could be just like, because Clearbrook I know is located in.
Right. We're in Arlington Heights. However, I've worked with clients in Elgin, McHenry, we're all over. So wherever our clients want to live, that's where we go. Our home-based apartment, we service over 56 counties, so our clients are not just limited to Arlington Heights. We go wherever the opportunity is. I was just out in McHenry last month looking at the new development out there and then getting that information out to our families, to those that are interested. So we're just not limited to Arlington Heights, we're all over.
Okay, and are you the contact person at Clearbrook, or do you work directly with, or do individual families work directly with their point of contact at Clearbrook?
I am the direct contact for supportive housing. So even if you have a case manager at SDA, I'm still that direct contact. And I didn't put my information in the slide, but I do have cards that I can leave, but I am the direct contact.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And she's selling those cards for $5 a piece.
Hi, I have a question. Can you explain who Up Development is?
They're just a development agency that builds kind of like all over. I actually they actually reached out to us because they have heard about Clearbrook and what we do. And they reached out and said, hey, we're building buildings. It's going to be for individuals with disabilities. Do you guys know anyone? And I'm like, yes. So I just have that relationship with them and other developers that contact me when opportunity comes, and then I work with our families and spread that information to those that are interested.
So they're a good resource as far as finding affordable housing?
I believe so. I've had good success with them, and the great thing about them is they know our population. I know I heard someone mention about like property managers. That's one thing that I do for our families. I advocate and work with our families and working with property managers and landlords just to be that advocate for them, because when you're talking about lease signing, you want to have someone there, I always say, as a second pair of eyes to make sure that what is being signed is right, what is being signed is reasonable, and just kind of going there and creating that partnership.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I had heard about a couple of the apartment developments through another organization, and what was stated a little earlier between disability and even like mental illness, you know. And so do you work at all with the NAMI Association with this housing project, or are you totally separate?
So we work with NAMI. I go to some of their meetings. Clearbrook is actually developing a mental health department, so that is in the works. Because we do have clients with dual diagnosis, so we want to be able to serve on both entities. So to answer that, we're personally in the progress of that, but if we do have families or clients that meet that mental health guideline, then we will work with Kenneth Young, or we would get them those resources and those connections.
Hi, David.
How you doing?
I'm so glad you came today because
Thank
you're,
you.
I'm sure, an inspiration to a lot of us.
Thank you.
And you are a true success by a lot of hard work and support. I wondered, I noticed that you volunteer at a elementary school.
Yes, I do.
I don't think that was me. Anyway, what are some of the things that you do when you volunteer?
I help in the gym classes. Yeah, I help in the gym classes and I help the kids with different gym activities. Yeah.
Westgate actually posted a video of Dave actually.
The Heart of Gold.
Yes, he was just awarded the Heart of Gold in Arlington Heights at Westgate.
Congratulations.
It's a great video, so if you go on Westgate's website, and Clearbrook also has it too posted, you guys can actually see David in action and what he does at Westgate. It's awesome.
Any other questions? Back.
I mostly take Uber, like an Uber car. I have an Uber account, and I sometimes I like to walk a lot of places too. Like when the weather's getting nicer, I'll walk to work, to Mariano's.
David is an expert in using Uber. He showed me and a couple of our other clients. So he gets out there. He gets probably to more places than I do, so it's good.
Any other questions for David? Well, let's give him a big thank you.